On today's episode.
Welcome. Here I'll show repairs I've done and share the techniques and tools that I use. If you find this video valuable or even entertaining, please subscribe as it really helps. It's great to get your feedback, so leave a comment below and don't forget to hit that like button. Also check out the description below because there'll be additional information and some useful links. Today I'm going to be looking at this 360 watt power supply unit. It's obviously a mains unit, so we have a mains voltage going in here, and we have three sets of terminals for the positive and negative. So you can feed various devices, I guess. I'm only going to be using it to feed a charging unit, and a fine voltage adjust should we need that as well. So 360 watts, that's 12 volts at 30 amps. So this has got a nice little cover on it as well. So I've gathered the requisite parts that we're going to need. So I've got a suitable mains cable here and some straight connectors for that. Got some heavier gauge wire for the DC connections, and a couple of gold 4mm connections there, which mate up with the connections on the charger and the spades there. Of course, we're going to need some heat shrink to cover these guys over, and not forgetting the fully leaded solder. Sorry about that, guys. So to start with, I'm just going to tin the mains cable. I mean, these connectors you could crimp them on, but I always like to solder things, so that's what we're going to do in this instance. So now, having prepared our cables, it's a simple matter, obviously just following the live neutral and earth, and then the negative and the positive voltage connections. So with good preparation, all we should have to do now is to slide these connections in. We should be good to go. Alright, so that's done. So I guess it would be prudent just to check what the voltage is before we plug it into our expensive charger, and if it's needed at all, we've got the fine adjustment to do there. So let's come back and see how that works. So here we are, we've connected it to the mains, so we'll keep away from this area over here and just check what the 12 volt voltage is. 12.06, so that's good enough. I will guess I will check it also once it's under load. So unplug that, flip the connection down to cover those contacts, and we'll check it on the charger. So here we are back in Battery Central, and what's going on here? This is the power supply that I'm going to be powering with the new 360 watt supply from Banggood. What I've been using in the past is this modified Xbox power supply. It's quite a simple mod that you can do, and it makes a reasonable up to, I think, 12.2, 12.5 amp supply, which it serves this well. But this device can allegedly put out 10 amps per charger, so that's 4 chargers in there, 400 watts. So that still exceeds what we're going to get out of the new supply, but I don't think I'm going to be getting up to those sorts of currents. But what I do need to do is to go better than 12.5. I've got some of these nickel cadmium batteries that I'm going to be using for a new project. They're old batteries, but new project, and I'm going to be charging those at 5 amps a piece, so that's 15 amps. And I've also got another battery that I need to do as well. So I do have a plethora of chargers here, but this is just really to prove the point. And we've got a clamp meter measuring the current there. I mean, if we just, as an example, if we start off the charge for the lithium polymer battery, that's set to charge at 5 amps. So we can see it's up to 4.7 on the clamp meter there. But we're going to swap this guy out now and put the new power supply in, and then we'll give it some stress with a range of batteries. Now we have the new power supply hooked up. Don't be concerned about the fan noise. 99% of it is coming from the charger itself. The other thing I have put on here is the watt meter, so taking a look at the wattage numbers that comes up there. I've also tweaked the supply voltage up to 12.5, 12.6. These guys are pretty sensitive to the input voltage, and if it gets too low, then that's just a little bit of headroom. So 3 batteries set up to charge at 5 volts and 1 at 2 volts. So, sorry, amps. 5, 10, 15, 17 amps we should get up to. And this clamp meter is set on the 100 amp range. So let's see what happens. Five amps. 10 amps. 15 amps. 17 amps. So according to the meters here, 22 amps according to that, 22.8 on the watt meter, and 280 watts. The supply voltage has dropped a little, but down to 12.2 according to this meter. That meter still says 12.6, but the resolution on that is obviously not too clever. So I think an excellent result here from the Banggood power supply, holding up there, charging 4 batteries at 17 amps, pulling 22 amps from the unit itself. So a good deal, I think.